This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Mike Somich today in studio. Today and the entire weekend. We have a 3-hour banger lined up for you today. Plenty on Major League Baseball. Monday's trading deadline in that sport looming. The rumors will not stop around Tigers starting pitcher Tarek Skubal. Plenty on the NFL today. Great guests. We'll hit most wins in August with Chris Belm, friend of the show, who dives into the numbers big time coming up in 30 minutes. Charger preview today. Chris Bennett from here at Circa and Lou Finocchiaro with his best bet in the NFL coming up at 6:30 Eastern time. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing good. It feels real, doesn't it? It feels like football is officially like coming / here. Every chance we get now, we get to talk about the NFL. We've got all these different players. We're already reporting to camp. I am loving this time of year because the excitement just starts to build. I'm here to sign up for Survivor. Right,
You're doing that this weekend?
I'm doing it this weekend. So it's all happening, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, August is tomorrow, obviously. The World Cup consumed our entire summer up until it was fantastic, right? But now that that's in the rear view, and I saw Brad Powers tweet this out last night, professional bettor, college football. He'll come on the show during the season. He's like so close you could almost taste it, and he put that mouth guard like in high school when you had to like heat the mouth guard for you. And that has like 1.4, like 1,400 retweets or something like that. Like people are just like, let's go, baby. It's here.
I got to say, the World Cup was like the best possible appetizer for sports because we got this month and a half of the summer where we generally don't have these big time events. It gets filled up. I will say it's put me behind on my college football prep.
I'm right there with you.
Can't wait for the guide to come out Monday so I can consume it. So excited to have that college football guide out as well. But I mean, look, we got ESPN over here. It's all football. Can't wait to get this season going.
Yeah, what's next summer going to be like compared to this year with no World Cup and then with this lockout looming for Major League Baseball that could take? And that to me is, if I'm close this year, the Brewers would be an example. The Rays would be an example. Don't you kind of look at next year and the lockout and say, damn it, we are going to make 2026 our season. We're going all in right now because we might not have one game to play next season.
See, I will actually go a step further. Yes, 100% those teams go for it. What about the Pirates? What about teams that have, I'll say, edge cases that they could make the World Series if the pitching lines up correctly? And you know you're going to have a floor in the upcoming seasons from a salary cap perspective.
Yeah.
You've got to spend some money. Why not go out and spend that money this season to prep yourself for what's going to come for the collective bargaining?
I would say that any team, like the Twins now are all of a sudden, they went from earlier this week being absolute dead set on selling their players, right? Jeffers, Joe Ryan, others. They won a couple of games in miraculous fashion, walk-offs. They're like, we're not going to sell, we're going to buy because we're right there. I think almost every team, but that also creates a market in which now you have, 20 buyers maybe? And how many teams are truly going to be sellers? Like, that's going to be how the dominoes are going to have to fall. And also it comes into, if the Brewers, we're going to hear a tremendous soundbite that pains me a little bit from Buster Olney coming up. If the Brewers want Skubal and make it their year, they're going to have to go above and beyond, evidently, to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Skubal market obviously heating up, and and this goes into what Buster Olney said, but the little dirty secret of Major League Baseball is the best farm system in baseball is, oh, by the way, the Dodgers.
Which is crazy.
Also not a bad team right now on the field.
They're okay.
So it creates a situation where, the Dodgers could almost just block other teams from getting him more than anything else. Like, we don't need him, but, man, we'd really prefer the Braves, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Rays, the Yankees. We'd prefer they don't get him. So why don't we just go out and make it happen? That
is, in fact, the narrative that I've heard from reporters today, is that it might be a move just to block every other team because the Dodgers can absolutely do it.
Scary.
This is crazy. This is Buster Olney talking about this situation with the Dodgers earlier today.
If the Tigers decide they're trading Tarek Skubal, and as you and I are talking right now, that is, the hard message, the white smoke has not come out from the Tigers organization yet to the industry. But if they decide to trade for him, the Dodgers want him, the Dodgers are going to get him. They can act with more flexibility. And then one official say to me that they are hell-bent on going back to back to back this year in winning championships, especially with the uncertainty of what the financial model is going to be going forward.
It's crazy. If they want him, they will get him.
I mean, you would assume they're going to want him, right?
I would think.
Why would you not want him if you have the flexibility? You've laid it out well. We're probably going to have a shortened season or possibly no season next year.
Yeah.
Why not go and use some of these young assets you're going to have one last year of and go out and find a way? Now, the Dodgers, I think, are in an interesting position because a lot of the new rules are going to be centered around how do we stop the Dodgers from doing what they're doing. So you don't necessarily know long-term how it's going to affect them from a salary cap, from a roster perspective, what moves they're going to have to make when baseball does reconvene at whatever time that is. But you know what? That's all in the future. I'm all about the now from the Dodgers.
You have to be. Yeah, and like you said there, the tail end of that soundbite is they are hell-bent on going back to back to back, and I don't blame them. Right? They were set up for this window to dominate this sport, and they have done that the last couple of years, and that could be a thing. I mean, we'll be talking about any team that three-peats forever, and if they could do that, then obviously who knows what would be beyond that year. And I don't know if we're going to get baseball next year, but the following season, they're going to be set up to keep winning. Ohtani's only 32 years old. Everybody else on that team, for the most part, and they'll continue to make moves. You are very well-versed in Kelce. I was super impressed. I'll pull up the curtain here. We had our weekly meeting. It was like 2 weeks ago, and you had the floor and you shared, because you're based in California, so you're on this every single day pretty much, right?
I am, yeah. I don't have access to all of the books that the fine people in Las Vegas do, so I've got to find my workarounds out there in California.
You have plenty of prediction markets to work with in California. So what does this mean overall that yesterday in this market for Tarik Skubal's next team, and the fine print here is by August 5th, 2026. Yesterday, the volume here in this market was at 150,000. It has more than doubled since then. It's at 300. So at this point, you can probably get down a pretty significant bet if you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you look through, especially at the top tier teams, right? So when you're dealing with these prediction markets, you don't have quite the volume right now to where you could really get a massive bet down unless you're looking at the top 2 or 3 teams. Those right now are the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Braves. Those 3 you can get quite a bit down. I think the fact that you're seeing this money heat up is just kind of everyone piggybacking off what we're hearing is that Skubal most likely is going to move. And if he does move, it's really consolidated into 1 of 3 teams. And so you're seeing some of that action really bubble up to the forefront. Now, the interesting part is what if he doesn't? The Tigers would then pay out if he's still on the squad there on August 5th. So we'll see what happens here. But it is one of those very, very interesting markets where it's a unique way that you can play it that's not necessarily offered in traditional books.
Would you take a little Detroit at 6%?
No,
you're pretty convinced that he's going to be gone.
I would rather be betting a couple no's and trying to create a little bit of value that way versus betting a bunch of yeses. Because to me, it's like if he goes, it's probably going to beat the Dodgers. And I'd rather go and look at like some of these teams, like the Braves, who don't have a great farm system, would have to pay through the nose. I'm not sure really willing to do that.
How about this? The Braves, I'm glad you brought them up. They're up 14%.
That seems high.
To 17% today.
Yeah.
The Brewers were high 20s this week. And by the way, the Dodgers got as high as 47 earlier in the week. They dipped down to 36 earlier today, now 42%. Dustin and I brought that up yesterday, buying the no on some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, you can try and essentially say, hey, I'm going to combine multiple no's to spend 80 cents. And then if he goes anywhere except for one of the teams I selected, I capture the other 20 cents of value, right? And so that's a way that you can kind of use some of these, especially in these situations where you're looking at next team, things like that, where the market is pretty well-versed and you don't have the ability to buy no at books.
For those who want to know more about Kelce, but that is one of the keys. I'm glad you brought that up. So because they have almost every single team listed, like if you want to take a flyer on a team like Philadelphia, for example, there's not going to be a lot of volume on Philadelphia. So you're not, even though the contract says right now, yes, it's at 3 cents, you're not going to get down much money at all.
No, I mean, you look at it, it's like $50, $40.
So yeah.
So and then if you do want to get more than that, you have to go up multiple cents. So if you want $250 on it, you'd have to go to 5 cents, not 3 cents. And so you're buying through multiple pennies there, which obviously means you're not getting as good a number.
Yeah. It's like almost like when you're trying to get down at a number at like, let's say plus 180 on a game and it spins and spins and spins and it doesn't take it. And all of a sudden, hey, do you want plus 135? Well, no, I try to get down to plus 180.
It's kind of like live betting when you're play behind.
Yeah,
and you're
for
like,
sure.
Oh, crap. Like, I know they picked up the first down now, right? And you see that movement there. It's similar to that with the liquidity that's offered in some of these markets.
Now, did we learn anything, though, from because people evidently, I mean, again, with the volume here, they love betting on this stuff, right? Did we learn anything from the LeBron market? That had, more than $200 million in it, and Philadelphia was 8%?
Yeah, I think it's, nothing, Jon Snow, is what we learned. It's a lot of people are speculating. Some people want to say, well, when you look at these prediction markets, that tells you exactly where someone's going to go. It tells you where someone's going to go in a moment of time, right? And rarely are you going to see I'm going to say insider wagering until like 25 minutes before the actual announcement comes. So when you're days out, I don't consider that sharp money. I consider it people who are trying to play a specific idea, position, thought, not someone who is in the know.
Or like the latest report that came out.
Exactly.
Whatever it might be.
That's going to move it, right? Like
sure.
Buster Olney, I'm sure, moved this number when he said if the Dodgers want him, they can go get him.
Because I'm looking right now. It was 37% today at 10:03 a.m., and so he said that, and then it's been up to 40+% ever since.
So people are buying the news, right?
Yeah.
They're not buying actual inside information
Correct.
that means he's going there.
Correct.
And the other part of this is, if someone knew something, 47% would be a bargain. This would be like 85%, right? You're
well
going to see
said.
a massive spike.
Yep. By the way, another thing that we kicked around yesterday, and I can't wait to get into this with Chris Bennett, who is in charge of all the baseball numbers and the sportsbook here at Circa coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time. What would you make? Let's say that, well, first of all, if it's Brewers, Dodgers, NLCS, game 1 is in LA, Yamamoto versus The Miz. What do you make that number?
Probably Dodgers minus 145-ish.
Dustin said minus 120.
That's low.
They'll take money. I thought minus 140 on the Dodgers, because I don't think you can make The Miz more than like plus 120 in that neighborhood against anybody.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I'm anti-Miz as much as more than other people, just because we haven't seen the longevity from him yet.
That's fair.
So I'm interested to see how he does when he gets to 30 starts.
Okay, totally, yeah, 100%. That makes sense, no question. Up next, the NFL hype season has already started. The NFL training camps, can't get enough of it, right? The goal of this star running back is to win the rushing title this year. I think he's from your favorite team as well. There's one major problem with this. I'll tell you what it is coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
What's up, everybody? Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN by the Books with my guy Dave Ross. Tune in Monday as we preview the trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and we'll react to all of the weekend's transactions as well. We'll continue to go team by team, previewing the NFL season. It's right around the corner, especially with the Hall of Fame game coming up. As always, joined by a great guest list, including best bets from Will Hill and expert analysis from former NFL GM Marty Hurney. It's VSiN by the Books, a Monday edition, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I think we all have some like random teams that we root for. It happened probably in our childhood. Mine, I have an older brother who loved college basketball, and he loved the 80s Kentucky Wildcats. So whatever my older brothers loved, it trickled down to me.
Okay.
So I've been like a big-time Kentucky Wildcats college basketball fan since like Pitino took over. It's really weird and random, right? I loved the Detroit Lions for one reason when I was younger. Living in Wisconsin with a division rival in my home state.
Barry Sanders?
My favorite athlete of all time. So I will always like have something in my brain, or my heart, I should say, for the Lions, where if they won the Super Bowl, I'd be super happy for them.
I love that you're so positive with these. So I am a Miami Dolphins fan.
Okay.
I am a Miami Hurricane fan. And it's because my father is a diehard Buffalo Bills and Syracuse Orangemen fan. So I chose chaos in my household. I became the fan of the arch nemesis of my dad, so that we had twice a year. You know, he's in his Bills jersey. I'm in my Dolphins jersey. We're going to a sports bar together. I'm like 8, and I'm just screaming on the top of my lungs for Dan Marino, and he's yelling for Jim Kelly. It's a different way to make a memory.
That's amazing. So you just decided this on your own as a 7, 8-year-old kid.
It tells you a lot about my psyche, doesn't it?
All right, so you're not going to be optimistic about this year's team, I'm guessing, in any way, shape, or form, right?
I'm going to be realistic about this team.
Okay, let me run this by you. Achane, who is a phenomenal running back, in a perfect world on a better team, I think like his ceiling is Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Right? He's that good.
Yes.
Because he's going to catch 75 balls. He said, well, first of all, Bobby Slovic, the offense here, I thought he was a disaster in Houston, calling plays. They're going to be run heavy this year. Malik Willis, a new quarterback. And the goal here was for him to win the rushing title this season. That's a little aggressive.
Well, I mean, at least they have an awesome offensive line. Oh, wait.
Oh, hold on a second.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Look, here.
They're going to be leading in a lot of their games.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to be a positive game state to run the football, too. Let's look at the positive first here, okay? Achane is one of, if not the fastest running back in the NFL.
Yep.
That's a good thing. Willis, their quarterback, one of, if not the fastest quarterback in the NFL. That's going to make it very interesting in the backfield to be able to do these run options. Now let's look at the negative side of this. Bobby Slowick, you said is a mess in Houston.
It was terrible.
That is being very generous. He was the most predictable play caller in the NFL for over 2 seasons. He, I would argue, severely hindered his quarterback's ability to be able to throw in positive states. You want to be throwing on first down, sprinkling in play action. You want to keep the defense guessing. His run rate on first down was wildly more than the rest of the NFL. If the Dolphins line up and try and run the football on first down and second down and put themselves in passing situations on third down, specifically early in the game, they're going to be down 14 points in every single one of these football games. And all of a sudden, I love the idea of trying to just run it into the ground, shorten the game. You're not going to be able to. You're just going to be chasing the whole time.
Sure.
So you need monster plays early from these guys, or else you're going to be in a situation where, yeah, that's great. You want to run the football. You're not going to be able to if you want to be competitive.
What do you think Willis can do in year 1 here? There's not a lot to work with, obviously. A tale of basically 2 careers already for him. Could not play a lick in Tennessee the way it looked. They got rid of him. They bailed on him immediately. With Green Bay in spot duty, I thought he was pretty good.
He was. I mean, but you have a great system up there, too.
And much more talent.
And I'm not going to say it's a good offensive line, but at least a competent offensive line. Now you're going into Miami where you have absolutely no talent on the outside. It's really just one running back. Your offensive line is terrible. It's a new head coach. The offensive coordinator is a mess. It's a terrible situation for him to bomb into. And that's one of the reasons, if I'm him, I probably wouldn't have even, I understand you want to take the money. I'm not going to knock him for taking the money. But long-term wise, I'm not sure this was the best spot to go for him for his next 5 to 7 years of his career.
I don't disagree. Halfley is the head coach, by the way. Uninspiring to me.
Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's definitely nothing that's like pedigreed that you expect this is going to be a great offense. And then you bring in Slowick. It's just, the Cardinals and the Dolphins are going to be in a battle for that first overall pick. And I like the Dolphins' chances to be able to do it. You looked up and down the schedule, and maybe 3 wins. Like, it's not an easy schedule either. That's the thing when you look through this. Like, the Vikings are going to be better. The Bengals are going to be better. I think the Raiders are going to be better, especially game 1 when you're out of the gate with a new head coach who I believe is now competent, a quarterback that's competent. You look down the list, you're like, okay, well, the Jets twice, that's great. You probably split those. Where are the other games that you think you can win on this schedule?
Yeah, they have a lot of difficult opponents for a team that was so bad last year. Are they better than the Jets in your opinion?
I don't think so.
The Jets have some decent talent. The head coach was an absolute unmitigated. We talk about bad coaches. Mm-hmm. Aaron Glenn had absolutely no idea what he was doing last year. Can he get better? Maybe. Will it look better with Geno Smith? Probably, but how much better? Not much.
Not much. And it's like maybe they split, right? Maybe they split. It's one of those. It's just an interesting division because when you're looking at the over-unders, to me, it's just you take Dolphins, Jets under, you take the Bills, the Raiders over, or Bills and Patriots over, and you call it a day.
Okay. Are you high on the Bengals this year? A lot of people here at the network and the Pro Football Betting Guide are.
I am in a conundrum because I'm not high on the Bengals. I think I am consistently one of the lower people on the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I love the offense. Great fantasy football team. They still haven't figured out this defensive side. I think their head coach is a hack and was saved by one really good Burrow season when they go to the Super Bowl. So I don't love the nuts and bolts of this coaching staff here. And the defense, they just continually ignore it. And you go back to last year and you think about some of these games that they should have won. They're up 2 scores on the Jets in the fourth quarter. How do you possibly lose that football game? It's because your defense cannot stop a nosebleed. What did they do to address that this year?
They did a couple of things, but it wasn't like earth-shattering.
No, it's not enough where you like, if the Bengals D needs a stop against the Jags, against the Bucks, against the Falcons, against the Commanders, are they going to get it? Probably not.
It seems pretty unlikely.
I mean, so it's tough for me to really want to get behind this Bengals team. The one thing I will say about them is I don't really love anyone in this division.
Neither do I.
I think that the Ravens are the deserving favorite, but after that.
Right. I mean, the Ravens' talent level is, I think, clearly better than the other teams, but we said that they were my number going into the season. They were my number 1 power-rated team in the entire league. They flopped last year. Mm-hmm. Now, how does that go with the new head coach? Maybe it improves, and maybe Lamar has another MVP-type season and carries the team to 13 wins again. But I'm with you on the defense overall for the Bengals. The problem is their schedule is so shifted towards Burrow and Jamar Chase setting records this year, honestly. And then because they played so many bad defenses in the passing game from a year ago. And here's the thing. If it does flop again this year, I would be looking at Zach Taylor first coach fired numbers. Like if they get off to now they get the Buccaneers and the Texans out of the gates. That is not easy.
Nope.
And this has been the MO for the team now for several years running, where the first 2 or 3 weeks of the year, it's been a bad start for them. If it happens again, I know it's this organization who they don't like to fire people, but they'd have to look somewhere else, I think.
The seat's going to be real hot if they lose to the Steelers. Because you sit there, the Bucs is going to be a tough game. Let's say they lose to the Bucs. The Texans defense shuts them down and able to take advantage of their terrible defense. They lose at the Steelers. The Jags is going to be a very tough game. It's a team that could be 0-4. Heading into at the Dolphins before your bye.
If they are 0-4, I think he's got to be gone at the end of the month.
I mean, you have the perfect time. Right after, but you got a bye coming up in week 6, and then you go and you take on the Ravens in week 7. You start your division schedule there after your second game in the division after the Steelers. That's the spot if you're going to do it.
Yep. There is this. Joe Burrow this week called Chase Brown an every down back who should not leave the field. He said, quote, he does everything. He can protect. He trains as a receiver all offseason, and you wouldn't know he was a running back. End of quote from Joe Burrow. And obviously Chase Brown was getting some high praises again this year at camp from the offensive coaching staff. I had him at 200-1 offensive player of the year last year. I thought if all things went well and they stayed healthy, they could win like 12, 13 games, and the offense was going to be super dynamic. And this guy is going to – I'm not going to do that again this year, I don't think. I would look more towards like Chase at 10-1 or maybe a little bit higher. What do you have a super long shot? We'll do NFL awards in general coming up a little bit later on in the program, but do you have a super long shot right now for Offensive Player of the Year or any other award right now?
I mean, if you want to look at the Offensive Player of the Year market, I think you're looking at some of these players that are going to be excellent fits that are in a certain spot. I actually think Derrick Henry is one you want to talk about. I realize he's getting a year older, but it's a Ravens team that should be able to win quite a few games. He's overlooked heading into it, and if he's able to get it rolling and they run the football as much as I expect, he's someone who's going to get a lot of love. The other one for me would be James Cook, who's up on that Buffalo team. All he does is score touchdowns. They're going to need him to run the football well here. And you got Josh Allen, who's positioning more toward the MVP. You may have Cook, who can slide into that Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal last year, and the Buffalo Bills run the football more than people realize.
Yes, they do.
Especially a lot like on early on in games, I should say. They were doing that a lot last year, which, to your point, I think has to come back the other way a little bit because that's not the way to get it done in the NFL anymore. You need to be passing on early downs to set up like short yardage situations. But Cook has been like an afterthought, I think, the way it seems. I don't know if it's because he plays in Buffalo or what it is, but you mentioned that he's a touchdown machine, and he puts up awesome yards like every single year.
Yeah, he's explosive. He's playing with a good offensive line. He is never, and I think this is important, he is never the guy you are focusing on when you are defending Buffalo. You are always focused on Josh Allen, and that includes when you're about to hand the ball off. All eyes are still on Allen in case he pulls it, tucks it, and runs. And it really helps Cook be able to make big plays and slash through that defensive line.
Well said. If you're betting at Circa Sportsbook for a limited time, you can fund your wagers and contest entries, which is huge with crypto, using BurraPay and pay no BurraPay transaction fees. It's fast, secure, and another way Circa continues to innovate for sports bettors. Visit BurraPay.com, BURRA. Pay.com to learn more. Take advantage of fee-free crypto wagering before August 31st, exclusively at Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino. BurraPay transaction fees waived as part of campaign standard cryptocurrency network, and exchange fees may apply. Do you bet most wins in baseball for given months?
You know, I don't, but I feel like I almost have to, considering the traction that it's got at this network. And I do love our next guest. I've actually looked at his pieces before.
Chris Bellm on the program next. We will get into most wins in August. I can't quit betting these two teams. Find out which one's next.
Biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, it is a huge weekend in Mike's world. He's going to give out some best bets with analysis at that time. Right now, we go out to the progressive guest line. Friend of the show, sports bettor Chris Bellm joins the program now, as he does before the beginning of every month in Major League Baseball, to talk about most wins in that upcoming month. Hey, Chris, good to see you the other day out here, by the way, in Las Vegas. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me back on. And had my buffer day yesterday. I'm fully recovered from my time out in Vegas this week.
No tickets last month on the Red Sox, huh?
Man, it did not. Hats off to Gil, grabbing them at 80-1. But another longer shot that we've seen. That's 4 straight months where we've seen 20-1 or higher cash this market. So that number was all over the place. 80-1 open. I think it closed as low as like 10-1 at Caesars. So hats off to him.
It is not often you can get a rocking chair 80-1 winner.
Gil, think about that.
I mean,
in a market that's been around now, I think since like 2023, almost every single month has been sweaty down to the wire. Yep. Gil has an 80-1 shot, and he never had to sweat it.
It's over the last week. It's just over. 20-4 on the month, absolutely phenomenal from the Red Sox. Brewers second there, 15-10. And you do a great job, Chris. You put this out every month on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You've got everything up where it specifically lays out, okay, how many games are each of these teams playing? Who's the favorite? What are the prices in different markets? First thing that jumped out to me, the Dodgers, your favorite. 27 games, playing the least games in August. How do you bet the Dodgers as a favorite here?
It's good. They're number one on the model again. They dripped off the number one spot last month for the first time, which I wasn't even expecting to see. But yeah, they're back slotted number one again. And it's crazy looking back at the history of August. We've seen longer shots cash so far this year. However, if history says anything in the month of August, last year we saw the Brewers do it. In 2024, we saw the Brewers and Dodgers split that market. 2023, it was the Dodgers in August. 2022, it was the Dodgers in August. I even went a step further. 2021, the Dodgers tied that market. 2020, the Dodgers tied that market again. So Dodgers love to get hot in the month of August, and then the Brewers the last couple of years as well. So maybe it's not a longer shot this particular month, but we'll see if that changes from what we've seen so far this year.
I doubt this is baked into it at all. I mean, their power rating is obviously what it is, but they're the leaders to get Scooble. Mm-hmm. Could that be a reason why?
I think that's a great question, Chris. How do you factor in the trade deadline, which is happening smack dab in the middle of this month? You're expecting players to move. Peralta off the Mets. You may get Scooble to the Dodgers, to somebody else. Does that factor into your predictions at all, or you just say, hey, I'll let the chips fall where they may on that front?
It has to be in your head, and that's why for this particular month, I'm going against the grain of what we've seen so far this year. I want to look more at the top of the board. Spoiler alert, I'm not going with the Dodgers. However, I am looking at shorter shots only, and that's because not only what I just mentioned as far as the history goes, but you get into August and September, you've got the best teams who are already more likely to win this market. They're just going to get better. You have the trade deadline. They're adding pieces. They're just getting better. And you've got the worst teams that are sellers. They're getting worse. So you factor that in. I really want to stick to some of these shorter shots. Maybe it's not as sexy as some of these longer shots that we've seen cash every month, but I could not find value down the board the last few days on this market.
Yeah, I think that this month is a tricky one as well to come up with a bunch of teams that you like down the board, because if you do, like I'll give you an example. They don't have the easiest schedule this month, but the Padres have been playing better baseball. They're like 40-1, a bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? Like, what do the San Diego Padres do this in the next couple of days? And if they sell off, I'm going to have 40-1 stuck, and I'm like, that's a stupid bet on my part. Right?
I mean, that's the parlay you're playing, right? You're playing, not only do they have to play well, they probably have to play well and not sell their pieces, and hopefully add pieces. Mason Miller, potentially out there. I think that's the scary part of this. I get it from a schedule perspective that you might be interested in them. And maybe if you're a little scared of what that deadline, what's coming at the deadline, maybe play half the bet or something along those lines where you don't have too much FOMO if the Padres happen to get it this month.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the 80-1 shots this month. We're talking about the New York Mets. We're talking about the Kansas City Royals, the San Francisco Giants. Not teams I'm looking to back, and definitely not teams that are anywhere near the talent level of the Red Sox, even when the Red Sox were struggling. All right, so let's talk top of the board. We are going to look at some of these teams that were sitting at a little bit lower odds this month, specifically because of everything that's going on and the advantages that they have according to your model. Who is one of your favorite bets here for the month of August?
All right. I have two. So I'm going to start off with my second favorite one, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. You can get them at 10-1 at Circa, 8-1 at Caesars. They have 29 games, and that's tied for the most. There's 5 teams that have 29 games this month. I don't have to speak too long about how good the Brewers are. They've been great every single month. Mizrachi seems to go the first or second day of every single month when we talk about them. He's going on August 2nd this particular month. Kyle Harrison is coming back, and they're just loaded. They have a 12-team. Their first 12 games are against non-playoff teams, and then eventually they kind of run into a 4-game set with the Dodgers. They got the Braves in there as well that they'll have to get through, but a relatively manageable schedule, in my opinion. 16 of those 29 are at home. I like the Brewers here, and something to consider. Even though the Circa number is higher, because they would probably lose that tiebreaker, you might want to look at that Caesars number at a slightly less number.
It's a good angle because, the Circa tiebreaker would be fewest losses then overall for the month. And I actually had the Brewers in May when they won it. And the reason why I bet them here at Circa as opposed to Caesars is because they had the fewest games. And I wanted that potential tiebreaker to go my way.
Yeah, it's one of those markets where you absolutely have to know the rules.
Yeah, you have to.
Know where you're betting, understand the rules, because you're going to see differences in the odds because of the rules as much as anything else.
No doubt. So I've been on the Brewers twice this year, one winner, last month a loser. I think I'm going to be with you on them again. I can't quit the Brewers. I also been on the Rays, I think, twice, have not cashed them. I think I might be on the Rays again this month. What do you think, Chris?
I like the Rays a lot. And unfortunately, one thing that's going to go against them, I just saw McClanahan about an hour ago. They're putting him on the IL. It's going to be short term. He might miss only 2 starts, it sounds like, but still, that's not something I wanted to see after locking in the Rays this morning. And all quotes last night and this morning, I was expecting they're not concerned. It was precautionary, but he is going on the IL. I just saw before joining the show.
Okay, yeah, that's
however,
bad news.
It is. But there's still a great case to be made. They have the third easiest opponent schedule in the month of August. They have 28 games, so just behind the 29, which is the most. I like some of the recency numbers as well. When you look at some of these teams going into the next month, they've been playing well. They're tied for second in most wins in July. It happens to be 5 behind the Red Sox, but still tied for second there. They have the highest batting average throughout the month of July in the American League. They also have the best opponent batting average against. So their staff's been great. Offense has been very good. So factor all of that in. And probably adding pieces as well, right? You got the trade deadline here coming up in a few days. And looking through that schedule, I think on the flip side, there's a lot of teams listed there that are likely selling. So not only it's the third easiest opponent win percentage right now, I think it's going to get even easier. Only 13 of the 28 are at home, which they've been great. They're 40-16 at home this year. But of the 15 that they have away, 3 are at the Rockies, 3 are at the A's. I think you guys would probably agree those are the 2 worst teams in Major League Baseball as we speak today. So I think it's just a great schedule for them to keep racking up some wins here.
Very good.
Now, real quick one for you, about 30 seconds. I looked through this chart that you post, and then the one name that jumps out to me is actually the Washington Nationals. 29 games, 50-1, right around 15 wins. Any interest in the Nats this month?
They did stand out. Especially when you start looking at what's Caesar's odds, what's Circa's odds, and Caesar's was 30, I believe, yes. and Circa's 50. I don't trust that pitching staff enough. I don't know what they're going to do at the deadline. I get it if you want to take like a sprinkle on a longer shot with them, but I passed on them this month.
Also, by the way, follow Chris on X. He's at Belm Chris, BELLM Chris. He shares this every single month. Getting ready. The team with the easiest schedule this month is Texas, based on opponent's win percentage, but you're not betting them. That's the first team that you wanted to bet, but you can't, right? Because the odds are too low.
That's my FOMO team this month. And I wanted to ask you the same if you had one. I just couldn't get there. I wanted a better number. I was hoping to be 20-1 or higher. The Giant series that they have coming up, they face Webb and Robbie Ray. So I didn't like that as well. So I couldn't get there with the Rangers.
Okay. My FOMO team would be San Diego, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I can't.
Okay.
Chris, great spot as always, man. Thank you, and best of luck this weekend and in the month of August.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
There you go. Chris Bellum on the Progressive Guest Line. Up next, huge weekend in Mike's world. He'll dish out some best bets with astute analysis next here on VSiN.
Over 3,500 circus survivors were on the Rams, and in an excruciating game, the Rams lost.
The carnage has arrived.
It's got to be the most disgusting survivor loss in the history of this tournament. Never bet Thursday night game.
It just rips you apart.
That's the worst survivor loss anyone could ever suffer.
The Team of Death has arrived for 2025.
New episodes Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN. Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
They weren't playing catch. They were playing drops out there a lot for Boise State offensively.
No, screw that, okay? There's no class. There's no sportsmanship. We're trying to win games here, all right?
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I saw the news today that CBS decided to put Tony Romo on leave after his unfortunate incident in the state of Wisconsin. Pulled over, a couple of cocktails in him. Body cam footage came out, obviously. My brain's a little bit warped at this point. I'm like, how can we make this into a betting topic? The first thing I did when I saw this news today was I searched Kalshi and like X to see if there was anything like that you could bet on with Tony Romo, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I'm I'm a little surprised. Like over under week that he returns back on air, right? Is there one? What number broadcast does he start as in the new season? There's a couple ways you could go with it. I mean, just PSA, don't drink and drive. Get a driver.
No,
there's so many ways to do this now. You can Lyft, you can Uber, whatever. Like, just don't do this. Come on, Tony. Be better.
You're Tony Romo.
Be better.
Any time that this happens to somebody at that level, it doesn't matter. It goes for anybody, obviously, but especially like football players, athletes, doesn't matter. You have so many services at your fingertips, and how you would not know that. He probably knew that day he's back visiting family, right? I'm probably going to have a couple of drinks, see my boys from years ago, whatever. How do you not plan ahead? It's impossible, Mike.
Well, I think we all have the thought, it's never going to happen to me, right? And that's why you get behind the wheel in those situations. And
I'm good to go.
Guess what?
Nothing. Yep.
It can happen to you.
Yeah.
Let's just. It's not just the services. They also have the means. He could have rented a limo for all of his boys for the day and just driven around and had a good time in the limo as well. Like, just be smarter out there.
100%. It is a big weekend in horse racing. It was part of the VSiN Daily today. Bill 80 wrote about this, saying, saddle up, huge weekend in this sport. You guys have done, you and Aaron Halderman have done a great job at VSiN at the track. And it's a very popular podcast here at the network as well. Why is it such a big weekend?
Yeah, well, two reasons. First off, every weekend in August is huge in horse racing, which is one of the reasons I love August. I was actually up in Saratoga at Saratoga Springs, Saratoga Race Course up there, which started the official meet started early July, ends in September. But then about 2 weeks in, you get Del Mar going too. And Del Mar and Saratoga are the two best boutique meets, sorry, Keeneland, that are out there today. And so what you have at these tracks is every single weekend you have grade 1, grade 2 races. You have win and you're in Breeders' Cup races. You have the best of the best horses that want to be in these races and win at these tracks. And so you get these monster weekends that set up. The marquee weekend at Saratoga is Travers Weekend. That's the key 3-year-old summer race on the calendar. So you'll see all the horses from the Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont. They'll all head to the Travers at Saratoga at the end of the year. Del Mar will prep up toward their big schedule toward the end of the year as well. But this specific weekend, we also kind of fold in Colonial Downs. And Colonial Downs has taken over the reins for Arlington, which is a racetrack up in Chicago that unfortunately Churchill Downs Industries decided to close the doors on. And they moved the Arlington Million, the Beverly D, the Secretariat, all of those over to Colonial. And guess what? That's happening this week too. So we have grade 1s, grade 2 races going on all over the country all weekend, highlighted by the Arlington Million, which is at Colonial. It's a grade 1 race over the turf course. It's not as good of a race as what I would say we've seen in some years past. We've seen some European horses come over here and compete in that race, but we do have Burnham Square, who may ring a bell for you, for the casual horse racing fans, was in the Kentucky Derby last year. Now 4 years old, Burnham Square has switched over to the turf and been dominant, 3 for 3 in the last 3 starts over the turf. So Burnham Square there at 5-2 is your favorite. I actually like Fort Washington, who's 5-1 here. Won this race last year, likes the track, likes the distance. Burnham Square has trouble shipping out of Kentucky. Colonial Downs, not in Kentucky, has never gone the distance. That's a problem for me. So I would rather not play a favorite when there are clear issues with that favorite. I'd rather take a price. So I went to the 3 here, Fort Washington, do like the 6 test score in that race as well.
Okay. Post time is when?
Post time. So this is race number 11 on the card on Saturday at Colonial Downs. It's 5:52 Eastern, 2:52 Pacific.
Do you have anything coming up today that you like?
We can get into today. Let me check out the schedule here real quick.
Okay, while you're doing that, I will point out, you told me during the break. So you and Aaron hosting VSiN at the track.
Yes.
Again, hardcore horse racing, obviously. And horse racing is a niche sport, but it has a huge following.
It does.
And so you guys ranted about TVG going bye-bye.
Yes.
Right? And the steam that you guys picked up on this podcast is absolutely off the charts. Telling you, right? It's like people want this thing to be around.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we have like 1,800 followers on the YouTube page. Not a lot. Going to have close to 100,000 views this month. And a lot of it is based off of talking around TVG and what's going on in the horse racing world. Because, look, before we had Polymarket and Kalshi and you could bet anywhere, it was horse racing. If you wanted your fix, if you wanted that instant action, you had a race, and it was on TVG, and you had announcers who, love them or hate them, were at least more knowledgeable than the majority of the people that were watching, and would point you in a direction to bet on a horse to hopefully win some money. And TVG, which was now owned by FanDuel, owned by Paddy Power, which is a company over in Europe, made some decisions to try and really lean into the sports market that, we'll say, failed miserably is probably putting it nicely, and it's costing the horse racing market. So they had to let go the majority of their talent on June 31st. So you don't have people talking about the race. You literally have music in between these races, and then they'll throw the race up there, and they'll have the announcer call the race, and then they'll cut to music and just go to the next closest race to post,
that's all it is.
That's all it is the entire time. Now they have contracts with Keeneland, Del Mar, and the Breeders' Cup, so they'll have some coverage at those 3 tracks through basically November, which is when the Breeders' Cup is. After that, just straight music for the rest of TVG's existence, apparently.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's atrocious.
Man, it's a kick to the stomach, man.
It's so brutal because we had Dave Weaver on the show, and he's been on TVG forever. Like, literally, I think he was one of the original people back in the early 2000s, and he talked about how you go to the racetrack, there are so many people that got into racing because of TVG. That got interested in the sport because of TVG. And like, again, some people love them or hate the talent. They helped build the business.
Without question.
They helped build the sport. And when I got into it, there were 3 full-time horse racing channels. There's going to be 0 with analysts now.
That's just an absolute killer, man.
It's brutal.
So that's, oh boy. So your point about, and TVG came around when?
2001, 2002.
And so it's going to be on TV. People are going to watch. They're going to become fans of it, right? And then bet, obviously. My analogy would be, why did I know so many friends when I was growing up in the 80s who were Cubs fans or Braves fans? Well, simple, because their games were on TV every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know random San Francisco Giants fans or random Texas Rangers fans. I knew Cubs fans and Braves fans because their games were on TV every single day. Same thing with what TVG has offered for a generation then.
Exactly. And they take you to the track. They have people on site at Saratoga when they had access to Saratoga. And the rights question is a whole other issue in horse racing. But they have people on track at Del Mar, Santa Anita, all over the country, so they can throw it around, show you what the weather's like, have people talking to trainers, jockeys, everybody involved. And look, there are some changes that are happening to the positive. So Fox Sports came out and announced that they're going to add Del Mar to their schedule next year. But Del Mar doesn't need the coverage, right? Yeah. Charlestown needs the coverage, right? Even Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita, they need the coverage. People are going to bet Del Mar. They'll bet Saratoga. They'll bet Keeneland. It's these lower-level tracks that are just going to get forgotten. Well, you're going to see the handle plummet.
But what's your best guess, though? There will be another network created, I'm guessing, sooner than... You don't think so?
So I don't think so. So like, if you want to peel back the business of this, TVG is the only ADW, which is an advanced depositing wagering site, that doesn't own a racetrack. Every other one is owned by a racetrack. So you've got CDI, which is Churchill Downs. You've got NYRA, which is Saratoga, Belmont. You've got Stronach Group, which is all of the tracks like Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita. They're really incentivized to push their own ADW and to show those tracks. TVG, not owning a racetrack, was able to be in multiple locations and say, okay, we'll go here, we'll go there, and we're just going to kind of push them all evenly unless you want to incentivize us not to. The idea that CDI would launch a racing site, a racing channel, right? And CDI, largest entity in horse racing, and then say, but we'll go to Saratoga and we'll put NYRA on as our feature track. 0% chance.
Not happening.
0% chance. And that's where you've got, because all these are publicly traded companies, you've got people that need to play nice with each other that are more incentivized to have a good quarter than to make sure the business is around in 10 years. And that sucks.
Is the sport going to die?
If it doesn't become privatized, I think it is. Yes, I think we're on the road to boxing. We're going to have these big events,
and that's it.
Yeah, I think that at this, it's going to be harder and harder for small tracks to be successful. You're going to keep the Triple Crown, you'll keep the Breeders' Cup, but you're just not going to have the same lifeblood of the sport day in and day out.
Crushing. The sports calendar never stops, and the Sharp Plays covers it all. They've been winning for 15 straight years, all of it documented, logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com. That kind of transparency is rare in the industry, and when the Sharp Plays moves, the sportsbooks take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find the value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com. Did you find anything for a race coming up here today?
I got sidetracked. I got so passionate. We'll talk about Saratoga race number 9, which is coming up in 53 minutes. So we can catch that one.
We'll do that next hour. Okay, very good. He's Mike Zamich, Mitch Moss here. Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, live in Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. We're going to get into the National Football League coming up next. A team that I think we're both kind of on the same page with in the National Football League. The range of outcomes here could go several different ways. And Mike is also very fired up about them. Catch it coming up next year on VSiN.